This is a totally groundbreaking platform. The ability to use a propulsion system on a re-entry probe back to Earth is pretty sweet.
Varda Space Industries, a California-based startup, is betting on satellites that will spend days or months in Earth's orbit quietly carrying out pharmaceutical development. Its research could lead to better, more effective drugs and hefty profits. Varda launched its first test mission last week aboard a SpaceX rocket, which took off from Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. The company then confirmed in a tweet that its satellite successfully separated from the rocket. On board the rocket, tucked among a group of other satellites, was the company's first creation, a 200-pound capsule designed to carry drug research into microgravity. If successful, Varda hopes to scale its business rapidly, sending regular flights of satellites into orbit stuffed with experiments on behalf of pharmaceutical companies. Eventually, the firm hopes that the research will yield a golden ticket drug, one that proves to be better when manufactured in space and can return royalties to Varda for years to come. The core of this idea, manufacturing pharmaceuticals in microgravity, builds on experiments carried out on the International Space Station, which is operated by astronauts, but hosts experiments from a range of private companies and research institutions. But whether Varda's ambitious business plan is viable will depend on numerous technological and financial questions. By space industry standards, Varda's path to the launch pad has been exceptionally quick. Founded less than 3 years ago, Varda has gone from an idea to a company with more than $100 million in seed funding and grants, a 68,000 square foot factory, and a satellite in space. Its workforce has grown to nearly 100 employees. Varda's vision is straightforward. The company's capsule will launch with an experiment already on board. Once in orbit, the capsule detaches and begins flying through space attached to what's called a satellite bus, a structure that will provide the power, propulsion, and communications necessary to navigate the vacuum of space. Then, the experiment begins. Carried out by simple onboard machines, the goal is to create key components of pharmaceuticals while in microgravity. In this weightless environment, such experiments aren't bogged down by Earth's pull. Research has already established that protein crystals grown in space can form more perfect structures compared with those grown on Earth. These space-formed crystals can then be used to create pharmaceuticals that the human body can more easily absorb, or overall better performing drugs. One key example, from research Merck carried out on the International Space Station, is the active ingredient pembrolizumab used in the cancer drug Keytruda. Scientists found that using crystals formed in space could create a more stable drug, one that could be administered by a shot rather than the time-consuming intravenous injection currently used. Varda's first mission will focus on research around ritonavir, a drug traditionally used to treat HIV, but more recently included the antiviral medication Paxlovid to fight COVID-19. After Varda's experiment is finished, engineers on the ground will evaluate if the capsule is ready for return. If they give a final go, the satellite bus will push the capsule back toward Earth. The capsule will then plummet into Earth's atmosphere and parachute to a gentle landing, where the pharmaceutical materials can be recovered. This mission won't be easy. Varda will have to prove its robotics can carry out these experiments remotely. These robotics will also have to survive the jolting forces of a rocket launch. SpaceX's rockets routinely fly to orbit, and the company has made booking a ride to space for a satellite practically as easy as chartering a jet. According to SpaceX's website, a payload of Varda's size, weighing in at about 660 pounds altogether, costs less than $2 million. Varda also has agreements with NASA that allow the company to leverage expertise and even purchase materials from the space agency. Varda has spent about $40 million on the development so far, and the company has enough cash to fund at least its first 4 missions, even if they fail. But any space business can be quite challenging. Space industry is highly complex and requires significant investments, advanced technological expertise, and extensive regulatory compliance.